Los Quaras, a salute. We're back with another one. As we continue with these issues of, our country, what is bothering our country and all of that, you get a sense that the ANC could have actually managed to, to save this situation, to stop the situation to become this worse. I want to talk about specifically during the CODESA negotiations, how they could have stopped or they could have avoided this situation, in a sense that in the beginning of the negotiations, Thabo Mbeki was the chief negotiator, Jacob Zuma was the head of intelligence, and these two chaps, they were busy with negotiations. Everything was running smooth. Maybe by far then. How did Cyril Ramaphosa come into the picture? The biggest problem of this country is Cyril Ramaphosa. Cyril Ramaphosa is working with white people. Cyril Ramaphosa is working against black people. I don't know how he became president. I don't know how he managed to come back. I don't know. The ANC comrades who think they are smart, they are stalwarts, they are whatsoever they call themselves, because us, we are not having any business to do with ANC. We are not ANC members. We can't dictate to the ANC who it must appoint as a president, as whatever and whatsoever. So, Thabo Mbeki and Jacob Zuma were there during the CODESA negotiation in the beginning. Chief negotiator Thabo Mbeki, Jacob Zuma, head of intelligence. Now these two chaps, they fly out of the country for some business and whatever the mission they were doing. Cyril Ramaphosa remained, and he, for some reasons, he managed to push himself, forced himself into the negotiations. He forced himself to become a chief negotiator. Rolf Meyer, who was the negotiator on behalf of the National Party, the apartheid government, made a deal, a shady deal with Cyril Ramaphosa behind closed doors that, listen, you put me as a chief negotiator, you remove Thabo Mbeki, you remove Jacob Zuma there, and I will give you a better deal. Rolf Meyer goes to the apartheid government and says this, that I've got Cyril there, and we need to remove these two chaps so Cyril can do the job. Remember, apartheid government were just looking for a better deal that will suit them. They were negotiating on behalf of the Afrikaners, their people. Sorry, after everything they have done to black people, now they want a better deal. One of the deals was to keep the land, was to continue controlling the economic means, hold on to economy. It means black people should be economically excluded. White people should continue to maintain their wealth, their land, the land which was stolen from black people because black people were dispossessed of land, all of those injustices. Fine. It's so painful to be a black South African in 2025 because I've mentioned this before. There's no business that as a black person you will start and it will see the light. It will grow. It will maybe get registered with the JSE and all of that. We have been cursed by this system to never ever be able to run a successful business. I know and I do understand for the fact that businesses are very complex. It's not easy to just boom and you run a successful business. But what I'm saying is that the systems in place do not accommodate us as black people. You go to the bank to borrow money, they can't borrow you money. The government cannot help you to source the capital to start a business, no matter how good you have. We have brilliant business ideas, by the way. Many black people do have, but you will never realize that dream for as long as the ANC continues to be in charge, continues to rule. Now, why I'm saying Cyril Ramaphosa is the biggest problem in South Africa, and this should have been picked up by the Nelson Mandelas then. I don't know why they let this man continue to cause this kind of damage, because what he's doing now, he was actually supposed to accomplish this mission just after Mandela. So for some reasons, he couldn't. He left politics. He said he's going into business. He's no longer interested in all of that. Now, through the CODESA negotiations, he was working with Rolf Meyer behind closed doors to sell out the ANC, to give the ANC the raw deal, to sign for deals which were not suitable for ANC. Krizani was pushed out. Then he said, I'm not going to be part of this selling out. Do whatever the nonsense you want to do. In fact, Comrade Krizani wanted to go back to the trenches to tell the Mkhonto Wesizwe soldiers that we need to actually, start with the war, because those people, they are selling out and all of that. Anyway, yes. Cyril Ramaphosa, together, working with Rolf Meyer, they made deals, they sold out ANC comrades. There were comrades also within the ANC who knew about this whole thing and who agreed and who didn't have a problem, because they were signing deals with big companies, becoming shareholders, exchange of nice life, mansions, a fat account, a lot of money in their bank accounts and all of that. They sold out. Our leaders, who claims to be leaders by the way, they sold out. Cyril Ramaphosa he's the mastermind of this whole selling out thing about the ANC. Because even up until 2022, 2023, he still have close, relationship with Rolf Meyer. He was still having close relationship with the same apartheid chief negotiator of the National Party, but he still does the same. And as South Africans, no matter how ignorant we become, no matter how cool we remain, we say, no, everything will be fine. Nothing will be fine without us fixing our country. So, him coming back, number one, he fired Julius Malema. Julius Malema was fired by Cyril Ramaphosa in the ANC. And that is the biggest mistake ANC has ever done, that they will regret. They fired Julius Malema, and he disbanded MVA, Veterans Associations. He disbanded everything that was actually a threat. He now started attacking Jacob Zuma. I don't have any issues with him attacking Jacob Zuma. That's their political, grudge that they have many years ago. Jacob Zuma, he was a president. When he was a president, he could have changed these things. He could have actually, he could have done better. I understand that, no, he built whatever, the university there and all of that. But the system, because there's no transformation. And for the fact that my biggest problem with Jacob Zuma is that he only focused on Zulus. He's a tribalist. He focused on Zulus. He didn't focus on the whole of South African black poor people who needed their lives to change. No, he focused on his own tribe. That is why you see KZN produced many millionaires when Jacob Zuma was still a president. Now they brought back Cyril Ramaphosa. Cyril Ramaphosa, I was reading a story that there's a gentleman who was arrested for having 1.2 million in cash under his mattress and all of that. I quickly thought about Cyril Ramaphosa's story, that if they can arrest an average citizen for having 1.2 million, there's no crime that they can link that gentleman, maybe to that, listen, there was a CIT or whatever the crime. No, just for having that money, they arrested him. Someone sold him out anyway, people who are doing, silly deals and all of that. I understand that. I'm not there. My concern is that the same president that's sitting today was caught with dollars and pounds in cash. Nothing happened to him. The Pala issue, you can't talk about it. So this thing sends a message that, our leaders are above the law. There's nothing you can do. You can't call them into order. There's nothing that can happen. They continue to abuse power. You remember Scorpion was disbanded because it was investigating politicians and all. Then they didn't like it. Then they disbanded Scorpion, the law enforcement which was dealing with priority crimes and all of that. So it's a concern because now politicians are above the law. I was looking at a video of Paul Mashatile, the deputy president, at his mansion, having a party with some, I don't know, it was a pool party. He was wearing shorts with his friends, he likes them young. His friends are young. These young girls who are showing cleavages and all of that. And you look at, have we really, the problem here with our politicians, they thought they have arrived to the promised land. And now they started to betray the very same people who voted for them. It's over with ANC, I understand. And I believe that it will never be resuscitated because this is what they brought unto themselves. The ANC has caused so much pain to black people than the apartheid government. We have kind of forgotten about the apartheid because we could console ourselves with the democratic elections and we've got government in place that's, all of that. We were hoping for a change and now nothing has changed. That is the most painful thing ever compared to the apartheid system, which was perpetuating brutality, directly. You knew that if you leave your house without a dom pass, that you can, come across the police, the security force, and they'll stop you, they'll kick you and all of that. Now they don't kick you anymore. They punish you with the system. So Cyril Ramaphosa didn't start to become a problem now. And the ANC must take accountability that they actually allowed him to have so much privilege so he can cause so much damage. And I remember Julius Malema one day saying, Cyril Ramaphosa doesn't think he's black like us. He thinks he's white. And he likes white people so much, more than black people. He likes them. That man can do anything for white people that they want him to do. That is why even the Democratic Alliance doesn't really have a problem with Cyril Ramaphosa being at the presidency because they still continue to benefit. They still continue to get the privilege. And white people have been getting the privilege since 1994 until now, more than black people. They created the triple BE system and all of it. That was the gangsterism who were getting together to benefit from the government. We never benefited anything. Black people never benefited from that nonsensical triple BE and all of that. People who benefited are the likes of Patrice Motsepe and all. Those are good examples of beneficiaries of the system of the triple BE, including some of the ANC guys like the EFF leader Julius Malema. He really benefited because then he got rich all of a sudden. Suddenly he got rich. The Fikile Mbalulas, the Malusi Gigabas, and all of those people, Ulemabes, you can count them. All of them, the Zizi Kodwas and all of them, they benefited. But most black people didn't benefit anything. They are still hungry. They are still hoping for a change. And nothing is coming out. And now that we've got Cyril, the same person who was only allowed to see Nelson Mandela before he came out of prison. That was the only person who was allowed to visit Nelson Mandela. Well, we had Abu Pravin Gordhan, the late Pravin Gordhan, and all of those sellout comrades. But Cyril Ramaphosa was the main person who was allowed. Why? Why Krizani was assassinated? They released Yunus Walus without consulting the Hani family. They take Yunus Walus secretly so. They flew him to Poland. Polish. A Polish man is sitting there now. A murderer who killed Crisani, who couldn't even tell who sent him. Clive W. Lewis, yes, he agreed to say, I gave Janusz Walus a rifle, but I didn't give him ammunition. Who sent Janusz Walus to assassinate Crisani? Because he knew that on that particular day, the Crisani's bodyguards were given off. So this was well orchestrated. And then the same man who was a problem then during the CODESA negotiations, who did all of those nonsenses, he is now a sitting president. He has got more power than then. And he betrayed many comrades then. He sold them out then. So what makes you think he's got something for you? So our president is just someone who when you look at him, is someone who can just turn against you and say you must be, eliminated. He's cruel. Cyril Ramaphosa is heartless, is cruel. Unfortunately, it's a fact. And South Africa, stop hoping for anything. There's nothing for you, nothing. You must just chill and think about another solution that can take this ANC out, because ANC is rotten to the core. It's a useless political party, and many people actually have accepted that. Now that we have accepted, what do we do? And even the political system that we have, it's not helping us. I mean, we are subjected to politicians. By voting for a political party, you become subjected to a someone who's corrupt. They can put anyone they want. You vote for ANC, they put Cyril Ramaphosa. You will be subjected to him. Those who voted for ANC, they are subjected to Cyril Ramaphosa. Even if you didn't like him, you didn't want him to be a president. He is a president now. He will preside. He is continuing to preside over this country. Many load sheddings, everything. Nothing good about this president. Nothing, absolutely nothing. So, South Africa, we are actually going nowhere, and it's a fact. And let's stop having hopes. Let's focus on solutions. The problem of this country is Cyril Ramaphosa. The problem, the biggest problem. He became a problem then during the CODESA negotiations. Him colluding with Rolf Meyer to sell this country out, to sell the ANC, to sign for the road deals. He still continues to do that, peacefully so. Nothing is disturbing him. I don't know, squatters, but let's keep engaging. This is worrisome, because when you look at these issues, you get a sense that no, the problem here is this man. Cyril Ramaphosa is a problem, is a threat to our country, to our democracy, and everything. He's got nothing for black people. White people will continue to benefit. I don't know. Let's continue engaging, squatters. Thank you for watching my content. Let's continue to subscribe, those who have not subscribed. And let's grow this channel. Click that notification bell when I drop the content. You happen to be the first, to get it fresh. And like my content. Let's engage, squatters. Thank you, Mzansi.